Hello everybody and welcome to Toto, Tournament of the Old World, as we get the last of the Chaos battles. It's the Warriors of Chaos Undivided, as we've got Archaon, the Everchosen, the bringer of the apocalypse, taking on Kholek Suneater, the Dragon Ogre. We've got Jeff the Ref here in a wonderful red and blue number as he tells us that things are indeed a go-go from his safe viewing spot here. We're in the Empire again on the random map selection, and we have our two forces. Archaon rolled the defensive posture, so he's likely to be relatively stationary. Going from left to right in his force, he has brought with him a Chaos Chariot of Tzeentch. They love blue. It's all things blue. Very fancy looking unit. Very powerful unit if used correctly. We'll have to see how he does with that. His frontline infantry consists of a good old unit of marauders from the Norscan tribes, ready to do battle, ready to earn the favour of their chosen god. We have a unit of Forsaken, powerful melee infantry, which, as we saw in the previous battle with Kairos Fateweaver and Village the Curseling, did a lot of damage. Probably his most unique melee unit is his Chosen of Slaanesh. These sword-wielding infantry are heavily armoured and very skilled. They also fancy looking at themselves in the mirror, probably a little bit too much to be honest. And fast attack, he's got some Chaos Warhounds with poison, arguably the better of the Warhound units available due to that poison debuff, though poison doesn't actually do damage to units in this game, which I always find to be a little bit odd. And then Archaon himself with his chosen steed. I'm sure it's got a name, it's probably called like Bob or something like that, as Archaon there, with his very fancy helmet with all those glyphs. Across the way, we have Kholek Suneater on the hilltop here. His front line consists of a badass-looking unit of Khorne, well, just Chosen of Khorne, really. I would have called them Berserkers, but yeah, Chosen of Khorne, wielding dual weapons, and of course that'll be a pair of axes, as all Khorne warriors will take. His own unit of Forsaken. He has some Marauders of Slaanesh on the opposite side, who have Hell Scourges, which is basically a code for Kinky Whips, is what they're going to be using. He's brought his own unit of Chaos Warhounds, so we're going to get a duel there between those two, most likely. And finally, his heavy hitters in the form of a unit of Armoured Chaos Trolls, looking particularly nasty. Very cool looking unit. And a unit, well, a single unit here of a Feral Manticore with some, I don't know, Chaos mutation. It's just Chaos Manticore. And Kholek himself, the giant Dragon Ogre Shoggoth with his... Shoggoth with his electro hammer armor thing. I'm sure someone in the comments will be able to give me the full lore background on Dragon Ogres. So as we kick off, we can see that obviously Kholek is going to be making his way down the hill. And Archaon immediately casting spells, being a wizard. He is going to be trying to do some damage. It's a smart choice. This is what Kairos didn't do in the previous battle, but if you've got the spells, you may as well use them as they get Spirit Leeched, which isn't actually the best spell to use against a unit of infantry. It would have been better to use on Kholek during some of his hit points earlier in the battle. Obviously, this is going to turn into quite a nasty melee battle as soon as they get within range. They're going to start charging each other. Now, Dragon Ogres do cast spells themselves, and that's made the Marauders move forward as a massive lightning bolt narrowly misses them. Whoo-hoo! Scorched earth there just behind, but they did manage to avoid that. No damage at all. Very well done. Archaon has cast another spell, but it's missed a colossal miss there on the Chaos Warhounds as they managed to dodge. So far, very little damage done with the spell casting. We now get into the melee, as we can see the Chosen of Slaanesh and the Warhounds from Archaon are charging the Warhounds and the Feral Manticore over there. This is going to leave his front line quite weak as the Dragon Ogre charges in to the Forsaken at the front line, as both units of Forsaken are now battling each other. Kholek Suneater using his Star Crusher mace and his Tempest Rage abilities to buff himself and nearby units, while Archaon has come in with his Slayer of Kings and the Armour of Morcar for extra defense. Meanwhile, the Warriors of Khorne there battling the Marauders. A bit of a lopsided fight, as those dual-wielding Chaos Marauders are going to get absolutely minced by Khorne's most skilled combatants on the field. You can see them dropping one by one. That fight is not going to last long. Even with the chariots rushing in and out to do a bit of damage, they really haven't done much of these dual-wielding Chosen of Khorne. And we can already see the Marauders are just dropping like flies, less than half of them left. Not going too well for the Forsaken either, but a big spell was dropped on the Hell Scourges there. They've dropped considerable numbers themselves. Meanwhile, the big fight between the two leaders as Archaon and Kholek get down and dirty, start smacking each other around with their chosen weapons. There's another spell being cast here. I'm not quite sure. Was that a... Yep, it's a vortex spell. Massive lightning bolt there. Hits the Chaos Trolls. Now, I don't know if that was Archaon or whether that was Kholek bringing in that spell, but it did not go well for the Chaos Trolls. They took a heavy hit. It's not looking like it's going to make too much of a difference, so the Marauders are finally fleeing for their lives. That's not a good sign there. Now, the Chaos Warhounds are coming back for Kholek as Archaons have flanked and have done the smart thing here of hitting the Marauders. Another spell being brought down on top of the Forsaken of Kholek. It's a rain of metal crashing down, spikes the landing in the ground. It's a very fancy looking spell, very pretty, I have to say, for the effects there, as the Forsaken are now looking a little bit shabby there. They start to lose more and more members as they keep fighting Archaon, but Archaon is losing the melee. He's, oof, big hit there, huge chunk of his hit points torn away. Now the Chosen Slaanesh, I think they were definitely misused here by Archaon. They should have been in the front line. They're probably his best unit, certainly the ones that have got the most experience in them. They also charged the Marauders of Slaanesh, but it might be too little too late. The Warhounds have been broken. Archaon seems to have been broken as well. He's not dead, but he's definitely trying to get away. Running into those Khorne warriors is not a good idea for Archaon, but he's going to try and push through them. Meanwhile, Kholek still got plenty of hit points left. Is getting involved in the fight now with the Chosen of Slaanesh. We've got the Warhounds here in the background who seem to have rallied along with the Marauders, who are they themselves trying to take out the Chaos Warhounds of Kholek. All three units are close to breaking. That's going to be an interesting situation. There's a spell being cast on top of Archaon's Warhounds, and again the lightning bolt misses, doing very little and actually causing his own Warhounds to flee. Kholek's spellcasting has been a little bit erratic here, and, well, in fitting, quite chaotic. As the fight continues, we can see that Archaon has come back. He even managed to get some of his hit points back. He's charged in on the Trolls. Not sure if that's going to help him, though the Troll units do usually have low morale. It's easy to break them in solo combat, especially when they're broken off from the main force. They don't have any of that benefit of the leadership of the army leader. But at the moment, it's the Chosen Slaanesh taking on 3 infantry units and Kholek on his own, even though Kholek was hit with a Spirit Leech, which drained a good chunk of his hit points. I'm not really sure it's going to really go the way that Archaon's hoping. Meanwhile, the Manticore, which is still in the fight, has tied up the Tzeentchian chariots over here, and that's definitely not good, because he needs those chariots to be on the move, constantly going in and out, slamming back and forth into units, doing as much damage as possible, and then retreating. Archaon, on the other hand over here, is still trying to fight the Trolls. It looks like he might actually be trying to get out of this fight now, because those Trolls are just slapping him with tree trunks again and again and again. But he's actually managed to break their morale. He may get them to flee, and he has. He's caused them to back off. Turn of favour there for Archaon. He is the ever-chosen after all. So as the Chaos Gods will definitely want their boy to win. Another Spirit Leech being cast on Kholek. He's getting more of his hit points drawn off. Archaon charging in to support what's left of his Chosen of Slaanesh. It's the Chosen of Khorne and Kholek with what's left of the Marauders coming in, but I don't think it's enough. It's a valiant effort by Archaon, definitely proving why he's one of the Chosen of all 4 gods here. And he's not going out without a fight. Will he be able to win this? Highly unlikely. He's taken a lot of damage here. These Chosen of Khorne just do so much melee damage, and he is having to flee. He's broken. I'm not sure what his remaining hit points are, but they can't be many. He must be virtually on the brink of dying there. He has to get out. The Chosen of Slaanesh also having a rough time. There's only 12 of them left on the field. They've done an amazing job, though, considering the numbers that they were up against late into this battle. It's been a lot longer than the Tzeentch battle, I'll give it that. These Warriors Undivided have definitely put on a much better show than the Tzeentch forces. Kholek is just running wild at this point. He's having the time of his life, smacking things around. There's another spell being cast. Is it another lightning bolt? I'm not quite sure. It's another rain of metal rainstorm there. Just a last little dig there from Archaon. His last spell being cast as he flees the field. And I'm sure Jeff's going to call this in a second. There can't really be much left. We can see the aftermath of this. Corpses strewn across the battlefield. If anything else, there we go. Yeah, the the Chaos Gods will be happy with the result of that battle. As we go into what happened here with the stats, and have a look. Both sides, pretty similar size. Archaon brought 369 warriors compared to Kholek's 378. Losses 313 to 235, with a remainder of 56 and 143. There was a clear slide there, as we can see that the damage was really being dealt there by Kholek. Archaon did pretty well, 62 kills. His Marauders got 11. His Chosen of Slanesh with 59. The Chariots really were a letdown. Only 3 kills despite the number of charges that they actually attempted. 31 kills for the Forsaken, and I mean, hats off, the Chaos Warhound, 69 kills. It's pretty good for a very light, cheap unit. Across the board, Kholek got 64, only 2 more than Archaon did, which shows that I think that Archaon probably was much better with his spellcasting. He did a lot more damage there with his spells by comparison. The Marauders of Slanesh with the Kinky Whips only killed 28, while the Forsaken got 27. Pretty even across the board for both Forsaken units, getting 27 and 31 respectively. But the standout the standout unit here is the Chosen of Khorne with their dual weapons, 123 kills. Khorne will have a lot of skulls added to his throne on this day. The Chaos Warhounds on the side of Kholek only got 35 by comparison to the 69. The Manticore did its job, 14 kills, and as did the Trolls. They were there to soak damage and deal it out in equal measure. But that ends the Chaos Warriors side of things. We've gotten through all 4 of the Chaos Gods, plus Undivided. Going on from here, it's going to be very undead themed. We're going to have the Vampire Counts, the Vampire Coast, and then the Tomb Kings. And then rounding out the actual prelims, we're going to be going into the Wood Elves, and then that will have our full set of Grand Tournament contenders. We'll be going into much larger battles and hopefully some pretty interesting results. Until then, thanks for watching everybody. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.